What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And before we get into today's video, guys, I just want to say if you're a fan of those legends of the game, or if you're someone that's younger and you may not have seen some of those lesser known legends play, this is definitely the channel for you, because that's all I focus on. So I definitely recommend subscribing to the channel. Also, guys, if this is content that you enjoy, I would greatly appreciate it if you would posterize that like button. That would help me out a great deal. And with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and let's get into today's video. Now, guys, this is one of those players that I just, every time someone talks about, great players that, that played in college, especially, right? If we're talking college, and the greatest college players to ever play, I'm always surprised that I never hear this guy's name. Simply because he averaged I think it was like 40 some points per game, or something. Like, it was like unreal. I know that it was just a crazy number, and that was without a 3-point line. And yeah, so it was just it was a crazy, unreal amount of scoring. I think Pistol Pete actually still holds the record at LSU for most points scored, and he only played 3 seasons with no 3-point line. So it's crazy, it really is. And I mean, he was also, I mean, he was a really, really good scorer in the NBA too, right? And he wasn't as amazing as he was in college, guys, but I think one year he averaged like right at or just slightly above 30 points per game, which was really, really good. I mean, again, that was before the 3-point line. So for someone like that, I mean, that was really, really good. So it's just crazy, guys. And to me, this is the perfect playmaking shot creator, I feel. That's Pistol Pete, or Pete Maravich. That's how I feel like that. And of course, I mean, obviously, if we're gonna go that route, we want to go, with the 50-50, right? Because we could go this route, right? But the thing is, guys, and if you look at it, it doesn't really hurt the the actual playmaking a whole lot. But bear in mind that you're not going to have playmaking badges with this one, right? And it being 2K, guys, I mean, look, you're going to be able to shoot. You're just going to be able to. So we're going to go with that. This, guys, it really doesn't matter. We'll go with the speed just because it's a shooting build, and we know that shooting builds, I mean, it just it wrecks your speed, right? So we're going to go ahead. We're going to max out the driving layup, the close shot, and we're going to take our driving dunk. We're just going to take it up to 55 because you're not going to be doing a lot of dunking. Like with Pete, he played mainly outside, right? And I'm going to max out all of the shooting, and that's just to get all those shooting badges. If you want to focus on other things, you certainly can. I'm just focusing, I'm just putting everything on there because I want all those shooting badges. Same with playmaking. I want to get as many of the playmaking badges as I can, because I feel like you need those. And, he was a pretty good rebounder. So we're going to go ahead and put that up. And we'll go ahead and put his perimeter defense and lateral quickness up as well. And that'll leave us with 7. You could put that pretty much anywhere that you want. It doesn't really matter, I don't think, where you put it, because you don't get an extra defensive or rebounding badge or an extra finishing badge, I don't believe. Yeah. So it doesn't matter where you put it. So we'll just throw that on steals where it's a guard, right? So for this, guys, I mean, it doesn't really matter. We'll go. He was a smaller player, so we'll go compact. 6'5" is actually his listed height, and I believe his listed weight, I believe it was like 197. I think, I'm pretty sure it was 197. So we'll go with that. And for this, guys, your wingspan, I mean, you can just leave that where it is. I mean, if you want to improve uh, your defense, you can max it out. But really, guys, you're just fine right here. I feel. You don't want to go up too much because by going up, you're lowering your ball handling, right? It's not so much the shooting that I'm worried about here; it's the ball handling. And you don't want to take that down too much with this build because you want to be able to have those handles and things, because you're going to be deadly. Even if you did max this out, you're still going to have an 87 3 ball once you get this build maxed out. So that's going to be more than enough. But we'll leave it at this because you're not going to be. This isn't going to be a build that you dunk a lot with, and it's not going to be a defensive heavy or a lockdown defender build. So we'll just leave it like that. I mean, even if you wanted to do this, you could do that just to improve everything, guys. But again, if you look at your stats, right, your close shot is going to be an 87 when you max this out, a driving layup of 84. So you're going to be able to finish around the basket pretty well. You'll have an amazing mid-range shot of 94 with a three-point shot of 91. Free throw will be 94, and you'll also have that post fade of 87 that you'll be able to utilize with this build. It really wasn't a big thing that he had in his game, but like I said, I put that on there just to get those shooting badges. And if you look at your playmaking, guys, you're going to have a pass accuracy of 92 with a ball handle of 88, which is going to be really, really good. And your perimeter and lateral quickness, guys, it's going to be a 79, so you're going to be able to hold your own. And you'll have a defensive rebound of 71 with an offensive rebound of 58. So that's not too bad. You'll be able to get some rebounds and things because I think he did average like around 4 or 5 a game for his career. So he was a pretty decent rebounder at the 2 guard. Wasn't great or anything, but he was good. He was decent at it. So let's go ahead for this, guys. Look, to me, you could do this. You could do Playmaker because that would be a good build for a Pistol Pete build, right? Or that would be a good takeover for a pistol build. Me personally, guys, I feel like this one. For this build, I feel like this one's going to be deadly. And that's the one that I'm going to go with. But you could go with any of them. Then you have a Playmaking Shot Creator, of course. And if you look at the very bottom of the Shades of Pete Maravich, I do like seeing that from time to time, even though we did prove in that James Worthy build that that's not something that you necessarily have to worry about seeing. But seeing it here, I feel like it's pretty accurate, right? But you also got Bradley Beal and Devin Booker, which are 2 really, really good guards. I mean, I know that they're both kind of struggling right now. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about that? I mean, there's a lot of players out there struggling. I know a lot of people's talked about James Harden, but it's a lot more than just Harden. And a lot of them's talked about Trey and Luka too. But I mean, if you look, there's a lot of them, right? Sorry about that, guys. I'm still a bit under the weather, and for whatever reason, the longer I talk, the more I want to cough. I'm just trying to hold that back. So, but yeah, what do you guys think about that? I mean, it's kind of crazy seeing that so many talented players are kind of falling off a little bit this year. It's really crazy, and I do wonder, is it the basketball change? I mean, did the basketball really make that big of a difference? Because I mean, I know I'm sure that there's a lot of you out there, like me, you've never played any at that level, but we've all played for an organized team, through whether it be with school or whatever the case may be. And of course, I'm sure a lot of us have played at the park, and you never really know, especially at the park, what kind of conditions you're going to be facing, and who's bringing the ball, and is it going to be a Wilson or a Spalding or whatever the case may be. I remember, that it never really affected my game that much, but I was never like a heavy perimeter player. Like as I've said many times on this channel, I played interior a lot because I always played either the 4 or the 5. So it wasn't something that affected me, But I mean, maybe some of you guys that were shooters, that played on the perimeter a lot more than I would have. Um, did different balls affect your game that much? Because I mean, it's a crazy drop off, guys. I mean, crazy. Like even Dame. I mean, Dame is struggling, and it's unreal. I mean, seeing these guys and watching their game fall off the way that it is, um, it's just crazy. And then you see other players, that aren't struggling, right? That aren't having any issues, that are actually, playing very, very well. I mean, like if you look at Chicago, I mean that entire team is playing really, really well. DeRozan is having a really good year. You know, um, so I just wonder. I mean, is it really the basketball that's making that big of a difference, or is it this rule change? Um, you know, preventing players from getting to the free throw line, because I have noticed a lot of players are getting a lot less free throw shots. Um, as opposed to other years. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, guys. I mean, let me know what you think it is in the comments below. I mean, like I said, me personally, I don't feel like it's the basketball is making that big of a difference. Um, but again, I've never played at that level, and but I would imagine that even basketball players, right? Even professional NBA players, at one point they played, you know, in the elements, on courts, and I just have a hard time believing that it's just the basketball, just that change in the basketball that's made that big of a difference. But again, it's hard to say, guys. Like I said, I just noticed that, and it's been a while since I've been able to do a video, and there's been it's became a pattern now. It's not just like a handful of games. You're seeing several games now that where you've got this significant drop off, and I still look at this as somewhat of an NBA channel, right? So I just want to let just see what you guys think may be going on, and things like that. And I mean, it's just yeah, it's unfortunate, but hopefully they'll get everything squared away, and they'll get back to where they were previously. But let's go ahead and let's finish up this build, okay? So guys, you've got the one finishing badge. Look, you can go slithery, you can go acrobat. Me personally, because you are going to be underweight on this build and you're not going to be really, really strong, I feel like slithery finisher is the way to go. Now, guys, I mean, for this, you want to go hot zone hunter. You want to do limitless spot up, right? You can do catch and shoot as well. That's another good one. You could do clutch, volume, stop and pop. Sniper's a good one. And then if you just look at what else we have here, I would do difficult shots, right? And then for these other ones, I feel like I would do this and this, right? And I know that's a lot of bronze badges, guys. And the reason why I'm doing bronze badges as opposed to doing like silver, is because in playing the game, I found that I don't see a significant increase in, having silver over bronze, right? So I feel like if you could put those badges elsewhere, you may be better off just going like bronze on some of these as opposed to, going silver and then losing that extra badge that you could use somewhere else, right? Because we know volume shooter is not really something that you need, but I know for a fact that, it's a badge that works. The more shots you put up, the more, the better, it makes your ability to actually knock down that shot. Stop and pop's a good one because with this build, you are going to be handling the ball a lot, and you want to be able to stop and put the ball up. Sniper, we all know that that's a good one, right? Difficult shots simply because you're going to be dribbling the ball a lot with this build, so you want to be able to stop dribbling and pull up, and this helps with that. And of course, clutch shooter, just because when time's winding down, guys, in the shot clock or at the end of the game, that's going to help you. And increase that, that ability to knock it down. And then, of course, the ones that we got on Hall of Fame, blinders and Deadeye, I feel like they're both really, really good ones because you get closed out on a lot on this game, right? It doesn't matter what, it doesn't matter if you're playing on the courts. It doesn't matter if you're playing my career or whatever. You get closed out on. So having those two, I feel like is a really good one. Catch and shoot because you are going to be playing off the ball a little bit, and with that, you want to be able to have that badge because that's going to increase that chance of you catching the ball, putting it up, and knocking it down. One of those 3-point guys we already know. I mean that increases your range. That's always a plus. And Hot Zone Hunter, of course, because once you get those hot zones established, it basically helps all of these other badges, and it helps you just in general, right? So, just makes sense. Now, for the playmaking badges, guys, one thing that I would do is I would do Unpluckable, right? Because we know that's a good one. Space Creator, because you want that. I feel like Bullet Passer is another one that you want on this build. You can do Quick First Step if you want to. I feel like Quick Chain would be another good one. Tied Handles would be another good one that I would just put. I would put that on bronze, and then I would do Stop and Go on bronze. And then I would look, and this is where you need to look on how you're going to play it, right? How do you, which one of these would you want, right? Do you want to be focusing more on breaking your defender down, or do you want to focus more on facilitating, right? And for me personally, guys, I feel like me personally, I like needle threader on this because with this build, I do like to facilitate, so it makes sense to have that. And then you're going to have that one defensive badge, right? It's all you're going to have. You're going to do it. You're going to be doing a perimeter build, so I would do clamps. Now you can do pick dodger as well. You can also do an interceptor or intimidator if you want. Either one of those would be good. I just feel like with that defensive rating being so low, clamps is just a really good one to have, just to kind of boost that defense a little bit. And there you have it, guys. I really feel like this is a really good Pete Maravich build. If you've never seen Pistol Pete play, guys, go check him out. I mean, he did some phenomenal passes. He was a tremendous shooter. He was just a really, really, really good player. And he just doesn't get the recognition I feel that he deserves. He's forgotten about a lot, and you guys know how much I enjoy doing builds of underrated players, right? So with that being said, guys, like I said, if you're a fan of those legends of the game, I would definitely recommend subscribing to the channel because that's all I focus on. And if you enjoyed today's video, I would greatly appreciate if you'd posterize that like button. But have a wonderful day, night, evening, wherever you are. Have a good one.